Ever wondered why an increasing number of Americans are choosing to ditch the conventional way of life and live off the grid? This isn't just a trend, but rather a lifestyle shift that's gaining traction, and it's worth exploring why. Welcome to the world of off-grid living in the United States, a realm where self-sufficiency reigns supreme, and the classic American dream is being redefined. Off-grid living, for those unfamiliar with the term, is a lifestyle that promotes independence and self-reliance. This means no reliance on public utilities like electricity, water, or even the internet. Instead, off-gridders generate their own power, harvest their own water, and often grow their own food. It's a lifestyle that embodies the essence of self-sufficiency, and it's becoming an increasingly popular choice for many Americans. But why? What's driving this shift away from the conventional way of life? It turns out there are several factors at play. For some, it's a desire to reduce their environmental footprint and live more sustainably. For others, it's about embracing minimalism, reducing clutter, and focusing on the essentials. And for some, it's about preparedness, ensuring they're ready for whatever life throws their way. Interestingly, this lifestyle shift is prompting many to question the traditional notion of the American dream. Once defined by owning a home in the suburbs, 2 cars in the driveway, and a white picket fence, the new American dream seems to be more about freedom, independence, and a simpler, less materialistic way of life. This is not just a passing fad, but rather a significant cultural shift. As more and more people seek to disconnect from the hustle and bustle of modern life and reconnect with nature and themselves, it's clear that off-grid living is here to stay. Intrigued? Let's delve deeper into this phenomenon and understand why. Meet John, an environmentalist who decided to live off the grid to reduce his carbon footprint. John's journey towards off-grid living began as a quest to align his lifestyle with his values. He was deeply concerned about the environmental impact of conventional living, the excessive use of resources, the waste, and the carbon emissions. He yearned for a life that was more in tune with nature. John's motivation was simple, yet profound. He wanted to be a part of the solution, not the problem. For him, going off the grid was a concrete way to lessen his impact on the environment. It was a path to sustainable living that reduced his reliance on fossil fuels and promoted the use of renewable energy sources. But the journey was not without its challenges. John had to learn a whole new set of skills, from installing solar panels to managing water systems. He had to adapt to a life without the conveniences he was used to. No more flipping a switch for instant light or turning a tap for hot water. There was a learning curve and a certain level of discomfort. But for John, it was all part of the journey. John's commitment to the environment didn't stop at his own lifestyle. He became an advocate for off-grid living, sharing his experience and knowledge with others. He showed that it was possible to live comfortably and sustainably without being hooked to the grid. He demonstrated that off-grid living wasn't just about survival, but about thriving in harmony with nature. John's story is a testament to the power of individual action. He chose to live off the grid not because it was easy, but because it was important to him. He chose to make a difference, one day at a time, one choice at a time. John's story offers a glimpse into the life of an off-grid environmentalist. But not everyone shares John's motivations. Each off-grid dweller has their own reasons, their own motivations. John's story is just one among many, a single thread in the rich tapestry of off-grid living. Now, let's introduce you to Sarah, a minimalist who chose off-grid living to simplify her life. Sarah's journey into minimalism started a few years ago. She was working a high-stress job in the city and found herself overwhelmed with the chaos of modern life. The constant cycle of work, consumption, and pressure to keep up with the Joneses was draining her. She felt disconnected from what truly mattered to her. That's when she discovered minimalism. Minimalism, as Sarah understood it, was about more than just decluttering physical possessions. It was about stripping away the unnecessary, the distractions, the clutter, not just in her home, but in her life. Sarah yearned for simplicity, for peace, for purpose. So, she started with her stuff. She purged her home of the things she didn't need, didn't love, didn't use. She pared down her wardrobe, her kitchen utensils, her bookshelves. But she didn't stop there. She simplified her commitments, her relationships, her goals. She found that with every unnecessary item or commitment she let go of, she felt a little lighter, a little freer. Then, Sarah discovered off-grid living. The idea of disconnecting from the hustle and bustle of the city, of living closer to nature, appealed to her. She saw it as the ultimate expression of minimalism, living with what you need and nothing more. So she made the leap. She moved to a small cabin in the woods, powered by solar panels with a rainwater collection system. She grew her own food and learned to live with the rhythm of the seasons. Sarah's life is now vastly different from her city days. She has fewer possessions, fewer distractions, fewer pressures. She has more time, more peace, more connection, with herself, with nature, with what truly matters to her. Sarah's story shows that off-grid living can be a pathway to a simpler, more meaningful life. But the motivations don't stop there. Finally, meet James, a prepper who lives off the grid to be ready for any potential catastrophe. James's story is one of preparedness and survival, a narrative that paints a vivid picture of a life lived on the edge, yet filled with a unique sense of security. James took the leap to live off the grid after witnessing the aftermath of a natural disaster in his hometown. He saw firsthand the fragility of our societal structures and the vulnerability that comes with dependence on these systems. This experience awakened in him a desire to be self-reliant, to be prepared for any eventuality. His off-grid lifestyle is a testament to this commitment. James has created an ecosystem that is self-sustaining, independent of the traditional power grid, and resilient in the face of potential disasters. He has a well-stocked pantry filled with preserved foods, a garden that provides fresh produce, and a solar-powered energy system that keeps his home running. James's home isn't just a shelter, it's a stronghold. It's equipped with everything he might need in case of an emergency, from first aid supplies to tools for repairs. This is the heart of a prepper's lifestyle, the readiness to face any calamity, whether it's a natural disaster, a financial crisis, or a societal collapse. But it's not just about survival for James. Living off the grid has given him a sense of security that transcends physical preparedness. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing that he can take care of himself and his loved ones, no matter what the world throws at him. It's the confidence that comes from mastering the skills needed to live independently. James's story provides a look into the life of a prepper living off the grid. As we've seen, the motivations are as diverse as the people who choose this lifestyle. Whether driven by environmental concerns, a desire for simplicity, or a need to be prepared, they all share a common thread, a pursuit of freedom and self-reliance that is as old as humanity itself. So, what have we learned from John, Sarah, and James? We've seen the varied factors that are leading a growing number of Americans to choose an off-grid lifestyle. John, our environmentalist, demonstrated how living off the grid can significantly reduce one's carbon footprint. By harnessing renewable energy sources like the wind and the sun, he is able to lessen his dependence on fossil fuels, thus playing his part in combating climate change. This commitment to environmental stewardship reflects a broader societal trend, as more and more people become aware of the urgent need to protect our planet for future generations. Sarah, the minimalist, showed us the allure of simplicity. By choosing to live off the grid, she has stripped away the clutter and noise of modern life, finding contentment in the essentials. Her story underscores a growing disillusionment with the relentless consumerism of our age and the desire for a more mindful, intentional existence. Then there's James, the prepper, who is ready for just about anything. His off-grid lifestyle is driven by a desire for self-sufficiency and preparedness in the face of potential disasters. His concern mirrors a wider societal apprehension about the fragility of our current systems and the increasing frequency of extreme weather events and other crises. These stories of John, Sarah, and James are not isolated instances, but rather, they represent a larger shift in societal thinking, a re-evaluation of what constitutes a worthwhile life. The themes of environmental responsibility, simplicity, and preparedness resonate with many Americans who are searching for a more fulfilling, sustainable, and secure way of life. As we continue to navigate the complexities of the 21st century, off-grid living presents an alternative way of life. For many Americans, it's not just a lifestyle choice, but a path towards a more fulfilling, sustainable, and secure future.